And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we're talking about burnout. This is why you are burnt out. There's multiple people that have been burnt out lately that I've spoken to or that I've seen on, YouTube videos, etc., etc. And I'm just like, burn out. Interesting. Let's talk about it. For example, and I'll show you guys, is someone who commented on one of my videos that I did a while back ago, and it was called, the video is called How to Develop a Massive Work Ethic, the 80-hour work week. Did it maybe a couple of months back. And 2 days ago, a man named Andrew wrote, "When you all burn out from working too damn much, don't worry, you can pay me to help you rebalance your effed up life. Glad you have money because I'm not cheap." And then I responded, "LOL, haven't been burnt out in flippin' 20 years and don't expect to be anytime soon. What burnt you out to become an expert in the field?" There's no offense. I wasn't meant to be sarcastic or offensive, but at the same time, I kind of feel that the 20 years thing is, there's a little bit more to it, because when I actually think back on it, there have been times when I was less motivated than normal, or times when I struggled a lot more than normal. But I've personally never come to a point where I got so burnt out that I didn't have capacity to work anymore. And if I did, I'd get sick for a day and then I'd keep going. So it's important to understand how this works, because then you can make sure you never, ever, ever get burnt out. The key is prevention, right? Okay, so we're gonna talk about this, and I'm actually really excited, because if you can figure this one out, oh my gosh, you are ways ahead of pretty much 95% of the population. Okay? Because this is pure ignorance on the subject. It is completely ignorance on the subject if you ever get burnt out. Okay? And it's not just from working too hard, or it's not just from, training too much, or like simple things like that. Oh, I need to balance my work and my life, and I need to blah, blah, blah. No, let's forget about that. Let's talk about real things that can prevent you from being burnt out. Let's go. Okay. You want to... plus another story. I have to do this too. Okay, my 11-year-old son, we were walking, we're going to go play basketball together, and then he asked me a completely random question out of the blue, and I had no idea that he was even thinking those thoughts. And he was like, "Is a midlife crisis inevitable?" And I'm like, bruh, he's like 11 years old. And I'm like, nah, it's not inevitable, okay? You can prevent it, all right? So, again, it was just an extra story that I wanted to share. The whole key is to never get to the point where you have to ask, what's the point? Okay? So if you manage to prevent yourself from ever getting to the point where you say, what's the point? Why the heck am I doing this for? There is no purpose for me doing what I'm doing at this current time. As long as you never get to that point, you'll never get burnt out. If you have a strong enough reason, a strong enough why, coupled with some other things we're going to discuss in this video, why should you ever get burnt out? Okay? There's no purpose for you to get burnt out if you have a purpose. Okay? Another thing that I wanted to mention on that, I wrote down 3 sentences, because people who are burnt out, they very often get into this mode. There are no answers. There are no solutions. And there is no exit to this problem, or to these problems, or what's going on, right? I often speak about feminine men being problem stackers, meaning that they receive a problem, but they don't fix it, either because of laziness. It is not really laziness, it's ignorance on the subject, or lack of motivation because of ignorance on the subject. Okay, it's always ignorance on the subject. But in general, there are some men out there, and we're talking to men here, okay? So women will probably get some benefits out of this video, but this is the men of High Value Channel, so that's what I'm focused on. So men stacking problems, get more and more and more and more problems until they feel heavily burdened by those problems, okay? Now, and we know that when we talk about women, those of you guys who have watched my channels before, then we explain how femininity for women is being unburdened, okay? For men, it's the opposite. For women, femininity is being unburdened, and masculinity for women is to be burdened. Okay, so when you look at it from a man's standpoint, masculinity is to receive burden, to take upon himself burden, because he's masculine. He wants burden, right? And responsibility. However, he solves the problem immediately once he gets one. His entire life purpose is to solve problems. The better he is at solving problems, the more fantastic his life is going to be. So he needs to get that mindset of, I love problems, okay? Give me a problem, I'll fix it. While the problem stacker is the guy who doesn't want problems because he's got too many of them already because he hasn't solved any of them. Get it? So it's the problem stack mode. He's the one who enters into femininity or remains in his femininity and is now in survival mode. Okay? Survival meaning he barely has his head above water. Okay? He's almost drowning. This is masculine women. This is feminine men. When we go against our natures, that's what happens. We basically die, slowly but surely sometimes, and sometimes very quickly, okay? But masculinity in men and femininity in women is where it's at, because then we can all have capacity to do what needs to get done, okay? So simple terms. Like I said before, that the mindset of burnout or femininity, overwork, femininity in men, okay? This is where they begin to say there's no answers, there's no solutions, there's no exit. So we have to switch that by preventing you from ever getting into that train of thought, okay? How do you do that? Well, you have to fundamentally believe that there is an answer. There's always an answer. There's always solutions, and you always have an exit strategy. Always answers, always solutions, always an exit strategy, or in other words, options. Okay? When you have no option, you feel as if you're out of control. You don't have control. And if you don't have control, like let's say, for example, over your life, over what happens in your life, over other people dictating over you in your life, then you begin to have problems. Eventually, those problems exponentially grow. You're compounding your problems if you don't solve them, or if you go in the continual direction of being forced to do things that you do not want to do. Eventually, you will explode, okay? Femininity is non-confrontational. Men being non-confrontational is a problem, because that means he never confronts his own issues and never decides what he wants to do at any given moment in time. You need to decide that as a man. You can't have other people boss you around for the rest of your life. This is why I say entrepreneurship is so crucial for masculinity. You cannot be masculine as a man if you stay in one job or having one job for the rest of your career. That is bad, okay? For those of you guys who've been around my channel, you know my process, you know the 5 phases of leadership, and you know the first things that needs to get done before you go for entrepreneurship. But for those of you guys who don't understand, like, study my channel a little bit, you get some really good info. Okay, subscribe and like this video. So now we understand this aspect of not wanting to be bossed around. That's a good thing. You want to be your own master, the own captain of your own ship. You decide where it's going, because that way you prevent ever getting into a burnout mode, okay? Burnout Depression, midlife crisis, it's pretty much all of the same. Depression is kind of more of a long-term thing, okay? You don't manage to get out of it, okay? But burnout and midlife crisis is kind of like, it's pretty much the same. If you're fired up outside your brain all of the flippin' time, you will never have any of those three, right? The key is desire. That's what fires you up outside your brain. When you're like, ooh, I want this, and I want this bad, and I'm going to get it, and I'm so excited that I'm going to get it. Man, life is awesome. That's the mindset you need to have every single freaking day. There will be times when you struggle with things, when you struggle with the problem, when you can't find a solution, but it's there, okay? The solutions, the answers, the exit strategy, they're all there. You just haven't found it yet. It's foundational to have that belief, okay? Eventually, you will figure it out. You have to believe that you will figure it out. But it all comes down to desire. Why do you not have desire? Okay, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of things because that's what causes the burnout, depression, and the midlife crisis. That you're stuck. You can't go anywhere. You're in the mud, quicksand, in the mire, and you can't leave. That's a problem. A masculine man is a man of many options. Right? That's what actually provides him with his confidence. That's what makes a man confident, is that he has options. He's not needy. He doesn't have to do anything that he doesn't want to do. And this is why it's so crucial that we look at win-win situations in everything that we do, because in that way, you never have to force anyone to do anything that they don't want to do. There's no need for slavery when you create a win-win situation where two people are benefiting from a transaction. They'll gladly do it because you found a creative way for both of you to win from whatever transaction you guys are trying to make. Okay, so let's list up a few key things here. We talked about desire, okay? We talked about having a why, okay? So the opposite of that is not knowing where you're going. Not knowing what you want, and not knowing, again, this is ignorance. Have you figured out what it is that you want? If you don't know, I'll tell you. Because this is the same thing for all men everywhere if you dig deep enough, deep down, to figure out what you desire. If you're a man, and probably if you're a feminine man, you're going to have different desires. But do you want to remain in your femininity? Okay, then the things that I'm talking about right now won't matter to you because you're going to turn off this video very soon anyway. I don't care. Masculine men, this is what they want, okay? They want to be happy. That's the purpose of life. If you understand the overall aspect of how this life works, happiness is what this life is about, okay? So the whole key is to figure out what is it that truly creates joy, bliss, and happiness. What is it? Is it short-term pleasure? Or is it something else? I can tell you it's something else, okay? But happiness is a crucial point. I'll tell you the biggest thing for a masculine man, someone who's truly moved towards masculinity, is to reach his fullest potential. That is one of the biggest things that a masculine man desires. And if you only have that as your why, you'll get so far in life. It is crazy how far you're gonna get. And trust me, if you have that fundamentally inside your brain, I will fulfill my ultimate potential as a masculine man. If that's your mindset, when is there time for a burnout? Masculinity and desire and fulfilling your utmost potential, there's so much horsepower in that. Because that means that, man, I just need to figure out what I need to do to get out of this situation I'm in right now, which will take me to the next level. Every single thing in your life is like there's a bottleneck to your potential, okay? This is every engineering process, every product process, every business process, all processes have some sort of bottleneck that is basically stopping us from massively flowing, okay, in the direction that we want to go. Okay, so we want flow in every aspect of our life. We want things to just come to us naturally and automatically and just gravitate, and we're just a magnet for fantastic things. Okay, which means that we want that flow, but there's a bottleneck that's stopping us from getting that flow and that gravitational pull for the things we want in our lives. What is your bottleneck? What is the thing that you need to start doing for you to get flow in your life towards your ultimate potential, towards your complete masculine frame, towards who you were meant to be? Okay? If you understand what that bottleneck is, and you chip at it, and you keep hacking at it, and you find solutions for it, and you have the desire to get through to the other side, you have a purpose. There's a purpose there. There's a why. I'm fulfilling my ultimate potential. I'm becoming more masculine every single day. I'm fulfilling my life destiny and becoming happier every single day while I'm enjoying the journey towards that. What is your bottleneck? What's stopping you from getting to the next level? Why are you stuck? Right? If you have the why, it will help you to find the solution that is necessary for you to get unstuck. Another aspect that I have to mention here, because married men have a huge problem. Massive problem. They get burnt out more often than anyone else. Incels also get burnt out, but for other reasons. Voluntary celibates that are voluntary celibate, they don't get burnt out as much. We're going to discuss that in a second. But then you've got guys with long-term girlfriends. They're pretty much in the same boat as married men. Long-term relationships, men committed in monogamous relationships, and then you got the incels who just wish they had a girlfriend, right? Actually, I'll just mention this right now. It's SR, okay? Guys who are incels, they watch a lot of prawn, and they do a lot of PMO, which basically drains them of their life force. Okay? Once you drain yourself of life force, you don't really have any sort of desire for you to actually achieve your utmost potential. For you to become masculine. For you to fulfill whatever dreams and goals that you ever had. Why? Because your self-worth decreases every single time you watch prawn and practice PMO. Every single time your self-worth takes a hit. And you're not very strong. You're not mentally strong when you're doing that. Which means that any small little hit to you is going to crumble you completely. Which cause men to not really have any desire to move forward in their lives. So they end up just staying there, being depressed, and keep on going on that destructive path. That's a problem. This is for incels, right? And then you got voluntary celibate that don't watch prawn, or single guys that don't watch prawn, that just basically guys who are practicing semen retention. SR. It's powerful practice that will help you to be happy the vast majority of the time. Will you feel burnout during that time frame? Maybe. Maybe there's some other things to it, and we're discussing this right now, but that's taking care of 50% of the battle. Right there. SR. Except for the fact that guys who don't manage to practice SR, but they keep trying and failing, they're not applying the principles that I teach on my channel, then they might struggle still. But 50% of the work is living SR. If you do, you're going to have a purpose, you're moving towards masculinity, and you're going to move towards fulfilling your ultimate potential. 100%. Married men, this is what I was going to explain about that first quote where I said, flipping 20 years. I haven't been burnt out for 20 years. It's not really 100% correct, okay, when I thought about it. Because during the first 3 years of our marriage, when I had no idea what I was doing in business, had no idea what I was doing in sales, I was basically a gym membership salesman, okay? And I sucked at it. I was horrible at it, but I kept chipping away at it. I'm gonna learn sales. Fortunately, they had a good sales training aspect to it, so I learned a lot of sales because of it. But man, I was having a horrible time doing it, okay? But I knew that I needed to learn it. It was crucial for my entrepreneurial journey and fulfilling my potential. And then I had the aspect of trying to start a business. The biggest issue that I had, though, was that I was married. The biggest issue that I had, though, was that we had kids. The biggest issue that I had was that I was constantly and frequently ejaculating all the time. This is what was burning me out, although I never got to a point where I was completely burnt out, because I've always known that there's always a solution, there's always an answer, and I will figure it out. And I did, okay? It's called 3 in Love. If you don't know what it is, subscribe and check it out on my channel or on the Women of High Value channel that you'll find below. Also, if you get a lot of commercials throughout this video, make sure you watch this on brave.com. It's much better than Google and on Chrome. And yeah, just a better platform. No ads, no anything while you watch YouTube. Anyway, monogamy and kids can create a massive burnout. Why? Because once you're in it, and it sucks, which it will, okay, you have no exit. There's no exit strategy from monogamy. Well, you could just divorce. I have no respect for guys who get a divorce, okay? Are there exceptions to the rule? Maybe. Just for a man to completely revolutionize his life and get back on track with who he was destined to be, right? Because there's sometimes when you just can't make that turnaround while you're married in a very difficult circumstance. But you need coaching, though, if you're going to get out of that, if that was ever to be a question, okay? That should happen to less than 1% of the population who is married. But 99% of you guys, you have a very difficult circumstance. It's hard. It's horrific. And it's going to mess with your ultimate potential because it is designed to do so. Monogamy makes you feminine. Does that mean you should ever sleep around? No. For those of you guys who know me, I say sleeping around is way worse. Okay? And that actually is causing you to destroy society at large. Trust me on this. Do not ever sleep with anyone who is not your lifelong committed partner. Having said that, monogamy is a bitch, okay? And is going to cause you to suffer long term because you can never get out of it if you're an integral man. Okay? There's no exit strategy. There's no solution to it other than, oh, I need to try and game my wife. Okay, so you basically learn the red pill and manosphere stuff in order for you to game your wife. Good luck, okay? It doesn't work very well, and there's always going to be some issues. Life gets better over time as the kids grow up, etc. But man, you're going to have a hard time, okay? Just in general, that is one of the biggest things that cause burnout for guys. And they try all these different things to kind of help their situation, and it eventually maybe improves and gets better. But it's going to create a huge dent on your self-worth, on your self-esteem, because it's not designed for masculinity. If you want to understand more about this subject, go check out my other videos on 3 in Love and, again, the Women of High Value channel. Having said that, that was SR, okay? Most married men don't practice SR, but they should. If they practice SR, things will massively improve in their marriage and in their lives, okay? You're going to get some improvement, but you'll never, ever reach your ultimate potential as a monogamous man. 100%. I stand by that, and I'll stand by that until I die, okay? And this is the last point that I want to bring onto the scene. Are you divided against yourself? Have you heard the strategy of war, which is to divide and conquer, right? If you manage to get the enemy to get divided amongst themselves, they won't fight with unity against you, right? So the only thing you need to do is to somehow manage to get them to fight in between themselves, because then the battle is easy. As an enemy, you being the enemy and you want to conquer the other army, if they're divided against themselves, you crush them. as long as you are unified, right? So this is what your goal as a man should be, to continuously and constantly be unified with yourself. Meaning, your mind wants to do something, your body wants to do the exact same thing. Unity. We move forward with power, okay? If your mind wants to do this, but your body wants to do this instead, then you're not unified. You're going to be divided against yourself and you're going to be conquered. You're going to die, okay? If it was an army fighting you, okay? Which means you need to, as soon as possible, become integral. Integrity is one of the most important things to never ever burn out. If you want to do something, but you never ever do it, you're going to have cognitive dissonance. You're going to, again, be divided against yourself. And it's going to cause you to lose. Diversification is a form of being divided against yourself. Which is why focus is the name of the game. If you understand your purpose, you understand your why, then the only thing you need to do is to focus on that and only that. I have a saying that says, negativity is what you see when you're not focused on your goals, when you're not focused on your dream, when you're not focused on your reason. I love that saying. It's awesome. Because that's basically what burnt out midlife crisis and depression is. It's basically you seeing life, opportunities, and situations in your life through a filter, okay, called negativity. And you're putting those negativity glasses on yourself. No one else is doing that for you. You're taking, which glasses should I put on today? The negativity glasses or the positivity glasses? Let's put on the negativity glasses, shall we? Because I got no options. There's no solutions. There's no answers, no exit strategy. Let's put them on. Let's see how life looks like. Dang, it's pretty negative. Okay? Life is a bitch and then you die. No. We put away the negativity one and we pick up the positivity glasses and you have a different view of the world immediately. That's a decision for men. It's a decision to be positive all of the freaking time. Does that mean that you're going to be Pollyanna? No, you're going to be positive, that there is a solution, there are answers, and we're going to figure them out because we've got an exit strategy no matter what it is. And if we don't, we'll make sure that our next generation do, that they're prepared better than we were. And we'll spread the message that this was a horrible situation we put ourselves in. There was no answer, no solution, no exit. Okay, don't do the same thing that we did. Okay, that gives you a purpose. The next generation is a purpose. Okay, I was put in this dangerous situation. I got cancer and I got this, that, and the other. Okay, let's teach the next generation to never be in the same situation. That becomes a purpose. And it causes you to live longer, causes you to put on the positivity glasses, and causes you to be fired up outside your brain to provide value to other people. See what I'm saying? It's all of how you look at things. Are you focused? Where are you looking? Right? You need to look where you want to go. And that's when you'll be unified with yourself as long as you take step in that direction. The only reason why you're burnt out is you haven't listened to this video 10 times yet. Okay? Or 20 times, or however many times you need to listen to this video to understand the concepts of sitting down, figuring out what you want, and what you want, trust me, is to fulfill your utmost potential, to become masculine, okay? And to become a man. That's your ultimate potential. And that's your goal, and that's your dream, that's your purpose. You never have to worry again about what your purpose is. That's it, okay? And anything that distracts from any of that, we should scrap it and find things that actually assist us on that journey. Having said that, at the end, if you are in the current circumstance right now, you're burnt out, you're depressed, you're having a horrible time, okay, understand that I understand that you're going through a horrible time, okay? I can't just flippantly say to everyone, oh, this is easy, you should just do it. It's not that easy, because if you're in the quagmire, you're in the destructive kind of mindset, the only thing you can do is take one small step at a time out of it. That's it. You can't jump or take a quantum leap out of a difficult mindset situation. The only thing you can do is take step by step over time, consistently. What I highly suggest that you start with is hiring me as a coach. Number one. Okay? It will change your mindset immediately. This is the fastest way for you to get out of your depression, to get out of your situation, to get out of everything that you're struggling with. Trust me. Okay? I've seen enough of my clients succeed through the problems and situations that they have for me to confidently state to you that, oh my gosh, the stuff that I teach is worth millions. Okay? Literally. And I'm not charging much because I'm horrible at marketing still, because I'm in the situation I'm in, and that's okay. I don't care. The problem is no one knows about this. And if you find out about this, man, you're one of the lucky ones, because we got the information for you to be happy all of the freaking time, no matter what circumstance you're in, because you'll find a solution. Okay. Step by step, hire me as a coach. If you can't afford it, or you just don't want to, watch and listen to my videos every single day until you're out of it. Until you're out of the burnt out, depressive state that you're in. If you need 10 videos a day, so be it. If you need 5, great. Okay? If you only need 1, you weren't really that bad after all. Okay? Like, you weren't really depressed. Okay? But for those of you guys who are truly, truly depressed, trust me, if you watch me 10 times a day and listen to me for 5 hours every single day, whatever it is, you will get out so fast out of the difficult and negative situation that you find yourself in. I'm fired up outside my brain for you guys to reach your full potential and to get your masculinity so that you can get everything in life that you desire. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. You're awesome. I'll see you in the next one.